What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Andrew's Reptile Arc. This week we're doing a video on leopard gecko heating and lighting. And we're going to be talking about all the different things you can use for heat and of course lighting as well. And we got our leopard geckos coming out to say hello. So if you want to learn more about heating and lighting, stick around. I'm Andrew Edwards. I've spent most of my life learning about animals. And now, focusing on education, breeding, care, and the discovering of new animals. Welcome to Andrew's Reptile Arc. The first topic we'll cover is lighting. Now, all of these 8 enclosures have LED lights on them. You could use incandescent lights, you can use LEDs, you can use UVB, like a low wattage UVB if you would like. These guys are nocturnal, so they really won't need that much UVB. They're not out during the day mostly. It is getting closer to nighttime, so that's why a few of them are out. Let's go in here. So this is Spyro, one of our leopard geckos, and you can see he just has the one light, and that is just on a day and night timer, just an LED, just lets him know, hey, it's daytime, and he pretty much spends the whole day in this cave because they are nocturnal. Oh. So he'll chill with us for the rest of the video. But it's basically just to say it's daytime, so you do need to provide them with a natural day and night cycle so that they don't get confused, and it's better for them psychologically to have that natural day and night setting because they do hunt at night. You should kind of feed them when they're most active, so you will need that. Now, like I said, it doesn't really matter between LED or an incandescent bulb. But the one thing I will say about incandescent bulbs, they do give off heat, so you do have to be aware that they are going to provide a little bit more of a warm environment for them. So you just want to be careful about that. This is Casper right here. He looks very similar to Spyro up here, and they're both boys, so they do look very similar, except he doesn't have a dot on his back. And he has a dot right there. Now, I think the major topic that most of you guys came to see is what is really better, a heat bulb or a heat mat. Now, you can use both of them. It really, truly doesn't matter, as long as the temperature in your room stays kind of consistent. If your room gets really warm, I would suggest probably using a heat mat with one of these temperature sensors. And basically, it's just a sensor that hooks up to your heat mat, and the probe is in the enclosure, and when it reaches a certain temperature, it'll turn off and then turn back on again when it drops below like 5 degrees of the certain temperature. Okay, I'm closing the door here. Beep, beep. Now, a heat bulb can be used in this case. Casper's enclosure actually does use a heat bulb. We use a blue bulb in here. There is a blue bulb in there, and it is on constantly. So that provides a nice natural temperature in the enclosure, but oh, he's staying. Nice natural temperature, but a lot of people don't like the heat coming down on their leopard gecko. They like the fact that the leopard gecko is being heated from the bottom. That's why they prefer heat pads. Heat pads are also much more energy efficient than a bulb. So you can use that, and if you're wanting to be concerned about how much power you're drawing, this is the one we're using, Exoterra. Fantastic brand. You can buy them in a variety of different sizes. I have nothing but good things to say. This is a smaller version. You can get actually pretty big ones for bigger lizards like beardies. or some sort of monitor or snake you can also use them for. So here it is at the bottom. I don't know if you guys can see that. It gives him a large area to actually keep warm, but you don't want to put it in the center where they can't get away from the heat. He's back there. 1 second. So you do want to provide a section that they can get away from the heat. These guys don't like to be warm 100% of the time. So I would provide a cave in the warm section as well as the cool section, so it gives them a chance to cool off or warm up depending on what side they're on. He's just going back and forth. Oh, I can feel his tongue. Oh, still there. So that's another thing you have to be concerned about, or at least take note of when you're actually setting up your enclosure. One side has to be the warm side, while the other side has to be a cool side. Don't put it right in the middle, and you don't want to make it span the entire enclosure because they're just going to overheat. That's not going to be good for them. They're going to be... What is happening here? So as Spyro goes back, we can grab out another one for you guys. We'll go over to Galaxy just to see what he looks like. It's another boy. There he is. I really like the look of this one. He has like spotted purple dots. Super cool. I'm not going to bug him too much, but they're all very, very friendly. Leopard geckos are definitely one of the most friendly reptiles you can own. That's his enclosure right there. He is on a heat pad. You can see the one light just to provide the daytime cycle, like I said. This one, Echo, that we focused on just briefly. He's a massive male. But he's also on a heat pad. The heat pad is under the side he's currently on. So he is trying to get warm. You can just see his little head. He's not very friendly. But each one of them has a different personality, right? So some of these guys will be super friendly and will pull out and actually spend time with, and others not so much. We got Evie up here. You can see her right there. I don't know if you guys can see that. And there's her enclosure up there. And she's also on a heat pad as well. We do favor heat pads just because more energy efficient, keep that lighting bill down. These nighttime bulbs are 50 watts. They are also made by Exoterra. But I don't know, I don't think they're the best way of heating them if you want my opinion. I know you can use them, and we have been using them for quite some time. They're easy to get. Bulbs are simple, right? They're not very hard to maintain. When they burn out, you just put another one in. Heat mats are a little bit different. You can't really tell when they're off or on unless you have one of these controllers. As you can see, this is slowly going up. It's set to 90, but you can't actually tell when they're not working unless you either feel the ground or you notice that the heat's really low. And here's Argo right here. So this is the first one we covered. She is a girl. She is a bit chunky, so we're not really sure if she's gravid or not. She would have laid eggs by now, so probably not. She's just a chunky girl. And she has mated with Spyro before, so we got some nice eggs out of her. And there's Nova right there. She has been bred as well. And we got nice eggs out of her as well. So in future, if you're ever wanting a leopard gecko, we can see what we can do, and maybe if you want one from the channel, we can always try to make it happen. But yeah, perfectly calm animals. Leopard geckos are easily one of the best pet reptiles you can own. And one of the easiest. Like, one of these setups is not that much money. Heat pads, that's not that much for heat. They're only 8 watts. Buy a temperature controller, they're like $50. It's not that big of a investment. And this is a full-grown female, so they don't get that large at all. So I'll put her back here, because she's... Now with heating and lighting, we haven't talked about it yet. So I like to keep my heat mats or the heat bulb around the 90-degree range. It's not really a basking temperature with these guys, like many of our other animals. You want to make it like the ground temperature of 90. So to use, let's use another one. So in case of Galaxy, you can see that cord coming down the back right there. That is right here ish. So if you feel the ground, it is nice and warm, but if you feel over here, it's a lot cooler. Now it's really surface temperature you're looking for in these guys as opposed to basking temperature. You will never see these guys out in the open like a beardy sunning themselves. You will never see that. They don't do that. It's not that kind of animal. But as far as heating and lighting goes, it's really simple. Lighting so that you guys can see the animal, and it provides them a natural daytime. Heating, I suggest going with the heat mat. You can do a heat bulb in a pinch, or in this case, if you want to provide some light in the room. It's really one of the only reasons why we keep a heat bulb. Sorry, I'm just fascinated by him. His eyes are so cool. Hopefully I can get a shot of the eye. Might be a little hard to see. I might have to get my other camera, but his eye is so cool. You can really see that stripe in his eye, more like a cat. But anyway, bulbs you can get easy. They're more readily available. They work pretty much just as well as a heat mat, but I would just recommend getting a heat mat. They're just easier. They look a lot sleeker. Only one bulb as opposed to two. Doesn't look as sleek. And I mean, it goes right on the bottom. Most cages come naturally lifted now for heat mats. So, but anyway, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.